My son-in-law asked me to be his friends with benefits while my daughter is ill. I, F46, had my daughter, F30, Laura, when I was 16. We're very close. Her father was older, abusive, and it took a lot to remove him from our lives. When my daughter grew up, we became more like friends. I went back to college and later she went too, doing the same major, only she went all the way to PhD. I'm very proud of her. During that time she met and married her now husband, M43, and had their son, who I adore. I did not really like her husband initially as he was my age group and not hers, but he won me over as he has been devoted to my daughter and their child. About 18 months ago my daughter started her new job but was just wiped out every day. She put it down to just work, child and life. But my normally high-energy daughter was sleeping every chance she got. Then she had breathing difficulties and was rushed to hospital, and we discovered she had a clot on her lung. That was easily dealt with, but an underlying condition was found. She was very ill. The last year or so has been very tough. There have been numerous hospital stays, treatments, and my daughter has basically been moving from bed to sofa at home. Her husband has been amazing. He had to stay working full-time but was there with her otherwise every minute. I have my grandchild and we made it work. Then last month we finally got news that she has turned a corner a little, so to speak. She was slowly starting to improve, but there was still a long road ahead for her. Still, I felt like I exhaled for the first time since she got diagnosed. I had the weekend to myself last week and went out with some work colleagues. It was a lot of fun. Last Sunday I literally did nothing but hung around my house and it was wonderful. Sunday night I was just locking up to head to bed when my son-in-law arrived. I panicked immediately, but he assured me Laura was fine. Then he just burst into tears. He said he was worn out, worn down, and he was feeling lost. I did really feel sorry for him because he has been carrying so much on his shoulders. It's been tough watching our girl so unwell constantly. He then went on about how much he missed her touch. Their intimacy is just cuddling and lying together. I said they still did those things, but he said only for short periods and it wasn't the same, and they hadn't had jingalinga really since she got ill. Just maybe twice. He saw I was getting a bit angry and said he understood he wasn't blaming Laura. Then he started to go on about how Laura and I looked more like sisters. Same body shape, same hair, same smile, same sense of humor. And that I looked at least 10 years younger than my age. Normally that's a compliment I'd like, but I had a sinking feeling in the pit of my stomach. He said if he had never met Laura I'd be just his type. I just snapped at him to spit it out. What was he building up to? And then he asked if we could be friends with benefits until Laura was well again. He says she would never know and it would be comforting for both of us. He said that I'd have as much to lose as him, so would ensure Laura never found out. I was horrified. Speechless only for a minute, then asked him was he serious. He said yes. I couldn't believe it. I told him I had way more to lose as she was my irreplaceable daughter, but apparently to him she was easily replaced. He said that it wasn't true, that he loved her with all his heart and he was just trying to get through her illness. I was really angry. I asked him if he had already cheated on her and he looked shocked and offended, and then made things worse by saying, "No, I only want you." I told him it would never happen, ever. And if he did cheat on Laura he would have been to deal with me. He just started sobbing again. I told him he needed to go to counseling, not to have jingalinga with his mother-in-law. He pleaded with me not to tell Laura, and he knows I can't as I'm afraid this would literally finish her. I threw him out and spent the whole night going back over the last few years and if I had somehow led him on. I did think we were friendly but nothing more. Most of our interactions were around my grandson. I texted my daughter and told her I thought I had COVID, so I was going to stay for a while in case I infected her. I'm not sick, just heart sick. I can't face my daughter, can't stand the sight of him, and I miss my grandchild. My chest feels tight all the time and my throat constantly feels dry and closed. I don't know what to do, but all I do know is I can't tell my daughter. I want to pack her up and move her in with me with my grandchild and send him on his way, but I can't. I've got to keep this damn secret and I don't know how I can or what to do. I can't confide in anyone in real life, so here I am. Edit. I'm sorry I'm not replying in the comments, but writing it all out appears to have opened the floodgates for me and I can't stop crying. My daughter is truly very ill and very weak. It's not cancer, but that's all I will say. I'm genuinely afraid for her and don't know if she could take this or not. I'm going to have to think more on this because I'm very uncertain on what to do for the best. Here are some comments posted by Redditors. One said, I don't know what I would do if I were you. This is horror. But you must consider that he might lie to your daughter before you can say anything. Another one wrote, I will never understand men so desperate for jingalinga that they resort to stuff like this. I just don't get it, I never will. I'm 40 and have had my share of actual frustrations too, but never would I resort to this or anything remotely similar. I have no idea what a friend with benefits is. But it's clear it's a jingalinga thing, so I understand he is desperate with the situation at home. But how is jingalinga the one thing he is occupied with when there's a suffering woman there? How is it that jingalinga is what's on his mind in a situation like this? It makes no sense to me. I don't understand people. Hate this. This reminds me of an incel friend of mine who was trying to get a feel of a girl whose cat was dying, and he was thinking about having jingalinga with her while the poor animal was dying and the girl was grieving. Right then and there, I hate men like this.
Story 2. My 41M therapist laughed at me during our first session. Vent/rant. This is a throwaway account, as you can see, because even though I spend a lot of time on social media, I mostly just lurk, since my social anxiety makes me too nervous to even interact with people even online. Yeah, ducking pathetic, you might be thinking, but it is what it is. I don't remember last time I had a conversation with a human being, excluding the therapist obviously. That's how bad it's gotten. I work from home, and I'm pretty satisfied with my job that doesn't require much social interaction, thankfully. So I don't have to talk with anyone. I'm too anxious to have conversation with any staff as well, so when I need something, I either order it or I use self-checkout. Last time I went to the grocery I go to every time. The most embarrassing thing happened. I went to the SEO as usual and suddenly, I heard someone address me. It was a cashier. She said something along the lines of, "Sir, that isn't working for now, pay over here." I literally froze up. I wasn't prepared for this whatsoever, and in panic, I kinda just put the groceries down and ran away. I feel so embarrassed just writing this out. I cried from humiliation when I got home. Why am I telling you this? Just so you can grasp how pitiful my situation is. This is mostly a result of how I've been bullied and ridiculed my whole life. I'm not the best looking, to put it lightly, pretty short, 5'2", terribly skinny, currently I weigh 93 pounds, and I've always had a stutter. All of this got me bullied back at school. I was beaten up regularly. Other kids would rip up my clothes, steal my food, and make fun of me all the time, and later in college as well. Yeah, I sound pretty dumb and childish bringing up something that happened around 20 years ago, but this prolonged treatment made me genuinely scared to interact with anyone. I think my mother played a role as well. We're no contact now, on her terms by the way. She belittled me throughout my whole childhood, constantly told me that no one would ever love me or how worthless I am. There was physical abuse as well. She even broke my hand one time. With these circumstances, I've never dated anyone either. Never even held a woman's hand, hugged, kissed, or anything like that. I'm so ashamed of this all, but eventually I decided to kind of try. So, that's why I went to this therapist. I was hoping to increase my social skills, maybe eventually get alright enough at communication to get a girlfriend or something. That now seems unbelievable to me, but fake it till you make it, I guess. Pessimism got me nowhere good at this point. So, I told her about my issues, including the fact I'm at 40. She burst into laughter as I said that. She was laughing for at least 10 seconds and then said something like, "Wow, I thought there was someone for everyone out there." The fact that even a therapist mocked me makes me feel terrible. Call me sensitive, but I just sobbed after I went home. It's so ducking hopeless. Sorry if this is long. I wanted to vent, and obviously, I have no one that will listen to me. Maybe give me some advice? I don't know. Just needed to get this off my chest, I guess.
Story 3. AITA for calling out my boyfriend on social media for kicking me out of his house until I saw a doctor. I, 31F, and my boyfriend, 31M, who we will call Robert, met each other through a popular social media dating feature. He is a classic nerdy geek obsessing over things like classic Pokemon games and streams, and is also a hopeless romantic type. We had been together for almost a year, and he has been a godsend. He helped me come out of my shell in so many ways, and I thought he was the one, even supporting me and even caring for me when I had a bilateral breast reduction surgery from the size of a 42H. Yes, you read right. The back pain was instantly reduced after I woke up from surgery, and he was a champ keeping both sides of my family and my best friend up to date, even when my surgery ran longer than expected due to the surgeon finding a large mass on my left side. Robert even took me to McDonald's after surgery, buying me an additional large fry with my meal since that was my craving post-surgery. Some background: I have a zebra condition called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, hypermobility type. This is a genetic condition that makes your body's connective tissue weaker than it should be. My joints have a wider range of motion than the average person. You can think of it as I can bend into a pretzel, but unfortunately, it comes with a laundry list of other health problems, including occasional issues with my kidneys and bladder, which is what is relevant in this story. We were a sort of long-distance couple residing in Michigan, and we were about an hour and a half away from each other. We often spent time at each other's places for his so-called weekends from Thursday night to Saturday night, meaning the days he wasn't at his job for a popular shopping company. The last weekend I was at his house, I wasn't sleeping well. My bladder decided to act up one particular night, and while I was reading, I had an accident on the couch on my way to the bathroom. I wasn't fully familiar with where everything was, so I threw the nearby towel on the couch thinking I would address it in the morning so we could clean it up. So fast forward to the morning and I forget about it in the mess of everyone getting up and about, with Richard going to work and his stepbrother giving me a ride to the train to make it back to my apartment. I don't drive since I have 6 mental health disabilities on top of my list, so I take other modes of transportation. The stepbrother's partner finds the accident and calls him mid-ride. He shouts at me for not knowing where all the cleaning supplies are and taking care of it, and almost stops the car and dumps me out on the way to the train station. They all think this is a common occurrence and say I should have worn a pad. Considering that this has not happened in the 10 months Robert and I have been together plus the time since I last had an accident before meeting him in the first place, a pad is usually not a common thought. Also, note that I don't experience a period due to the birth control method of choice I use and still use. Once I got to talk to Robert after I got home, he understood, but he told me I'm not allowed back at his house until I see a doctor about this issue, and even then I am required to wear an adult diaper at all times when I am allowed back at his house. I was not having it. So what do? I take to social media and ran about it. It wasn't Reddit where I posted, but I did post an AITA-style post asking if I was in the wrong to my friends on social media. When he sees it the next day, he breaks up with me by blocking me. Bonus content: I get back from the train in my apartment, and I'm too tired that night to unpack. After dealing with the block from my now ex, I find a bra in my luggage. But this particular bra was not a 42H. And I'd been wearing sports bras post-surgery. This was a random size regular bra from Victoria's Secret. Now to my knowledge, VS never carried 42H bras. Yep, he had been cheating on me the entire time. Fast forward to now, I'm in a new relationship with someone else, 39M. A US Army sergeant to be specific, who would never require me to wear an adult diaper to enter his apartment. Comments: you the a-hole. It's your body fluid on someone else's couch. It looks like you boyfriend shares household with his family. You had to have more consideration. Not everyone wants to clean other people's body fluid, and he does not live alone, he lives with people. I understand you have a condition, but you're an adult. The least you could do, having such a supportive boyfriend this whole time, like you said, was not forget about you mess asking him about where the cleaning supplies were and clean it. It was your responsibility, not your boyfriend. How is it that you guys have been together for so long but you don't know where the cleaning supplies were, and then you just forgot to clean up for yourself? It doesn't make sense, and posting it on social media was not nice. If it was my brother's girlfriend that left a mess in my house, I would have done the same thing. Call upset to complain and tell him she's not welcome because she didn't even try to clean up. She just left it like that. You the a-hole. As someone with 2 chronic illnesses and who works in disability services, medical conditions and disabilities are not an excuse for being disrespectful and rude. Who just pees on someone's couch, not only doesn't even attempt to clean it, but then says absolutely nothing, and it just leaves your brain. I get having a chronic illness and disabilities, but it's not an excuse for being nasty and honestly, just rude. I would straight up not welcome you back. It shows such a disrespectful attitude for the people who live there. Hell, if you couldn't clean it, then you wake someone up. Wanting to go to bed and deal with it in the morning is one of the most selfish things I have heard. That couch is not salvageable because your pee was soaking through the cushion and into the frame while you slept. You could have at least removed the seat cushion if it was possible and take it to the laundry. I work with clients who have accidents like this and who have severe intellectual disabilities and physical impairments, and even they understand that you tell someone or clean the bloody mess up, and if you need help, it's okay. This sort of stuff gets me really annoyed because it's not that you couldn't do better, it's that you chose not to, then acted like you were wronged because of your disabilities. Take accountability. You are part of the problem in why we have to educate the community that people with disabilities are capable of more and worth being valued. Stop using your health as an excuse to be a selfish person. Hint, cleaning products are under the sink and in the laundry, in every house, in every country I have been to, but the fact you didn't even bother to try. Steps off the soapbox. Edit. I am not even touching the social media stuff because it's just insane to me and I have to stop or I will type a novel. Well, this is the end of these 3 crazy stories. By the way, what should Opie in the first story do about her son-in-law? Should the Opie of the second story take action against the therapist? And what about the Opie in the third story? Do you guys think she is an a-hole? Please share your thoughts, suggestions, or an interesting story of your own in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the story, do like this video and subscribe to our channel. It is free. You guys can also support us by checking out the links in the video description and the channel's About section. You can watch these videos in the meantime. Hope you guys have a great day. Goodbye.